Senator Kushner.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to address the chamber. I want to thank our chairman, Chairman Needleman, and our ranking member, Formika, for all the work that you put in to bring us to this point where we can begin to address some terrible problems that befell our state. And I have to say that I know you've heard from a lot of people today, but it's really important to remember what happened to the people of Connecticut during that storm. Now, I live in Danbury, Connecticut, a town that was hit very hard by the storm. I represent Sherman, Connecticut, a town that lost 90% of its power. I was in New Fairfield right after the storm, and there were 3 poles on fire, and they couldn't get it addressed by Eversource. And I also represent a part of Bethel, which you probably know was the last town in Connecticut to get fully restored. So this hit us hard. And some of the people are saying, well, why are we doing this now? Why aren't we waiting until January? And I want to tell you how important it is that you brought this to us now. Because I can already feel what would happen in January. The building would be swarming with lobbyists. The process would be slowed down. People would forget how devastating this storm was to so many families. And being here today is responding to the need. Being here and taking this step is saying that we hear from our constituents and we're going to address the problems that they felt. Now, some of us have generators. I had a generator. You know, I lost a lot of trees. I had massive devastation on my property, but I had a generator. But I know people who lost medication that cost hundreds of dollars. I know families that had stocked their refrigerators and freezers full to save money and then ended up losing all of that. I know people that were extremely distressed that they weren't going to have the life-saving measures that they might need because their street was still blocked days after days after days. People on ventilators, people who had equipment in their homes that wasn't running. And it was really devastating. And I talked to First Selectman, I talked to our mayor, and they couldn't get through to Eversource. And they told me that in other storms, that those problems hadn't existed, that they did have good communication. But in this storm, the liaisons were non-existent, or they had no power to make decisions, to make changes. So there is so much that we need to do. To me, the timing of this storm was particularly brutal because, as you all know, it came just weeks after the storm of calls and pleas that we got about the rate hikes. And so the combination of a devastating storm and rate hikes that were crushing people really brought to the forefront how important it is that we look at how do we address the energy needs in our state. Now, I know these problems are not easy to solve. You know, this is not my specialty area, but I know what my job is. My job is to be here and represent the people of my district and to make it clear to you that we are with you on this bill, to make it clear to you that we've heard this is a first step and it's an important first step, and we appreciate that. We're here to support you. We're here to say to you what you need to do next session is to take this even further. People need to have recourse. I think that the way this bill is structured is really right on, because you started talking about how rates are established, and that is the bottom line. If we're going to have high energy rates, which we've all suffered for a long time, then we have to have the very best energy resource here, and we haven't had that. That has just, the performance of this company has just escaped us. And so for me, I feel very honored to be here. I want to thank you for all the work you put into this bill. I want to encourage you to continue this good work so that we take it even farther, because the people of Connecticut really deserve good energy they can count on, and a company that is responsible to them, not just to the shareholders. So I really appreciate everything you did here today, and I look forward to voting for this bill shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kushner.